Guys are here first. Now we've got, let's see, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn all joining. What's up, everybody? You know what I'm about to say. The records are now open. I'm so happy that you are here with me on this Wednesday. I also was just taking a few moments actually to chat with Jim before we started. Jim Power in the house early, showing us how it works, saying hello from Minnesota. As I was reading Jim's comment, and it was tickling me that our beautiful, loyal community is already gathering and that you all know the drill. Say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I am joining you from the High Sierras in Reno, Nevada. And our very first activation comes as you all begin to share where you're tuning in from. I want to invite you to visualize these pinpoints of light illuminating all over our planet. We are truly creating a blanket of consciousness, of love, of peace, of perspective shifts, of aha moments that we all get to have here together today. Place your hand on your heart. Well, actually, I want you to type in too. Maybe you can't type with only one hand. After you're done typing and you let us know where you're tuning in from, place your hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths, center yourself. Because I can promise you that your soul has brought you into this space today for a reason. There is intelligence. There is an unseen solution. There is a new perspective that gets to drop into your field today. So I feel honored and privileged to create a sacred space where we can all come together in this way and expand our energy, our awareness, raise our consciousness. Mama in the house. Everybody say hi to Mama. I'm so happy you're here, Mom. You're entertaining and hosting today. So that's how loyal of a follower Mama is. She, even if she's got guests in town, she's like, all right, I'm going to be there. Like so many of you as well. I see so many familiar faces. I'm so happy that we get to share this time. All right. So I want you to start typing your questions into the comments. Any question that you have for your Akashic Records, any place where you want higher wisdom, guidance, and clarity, I want to get those questions rolling in today. And while you're typing in, for those of you who are new, I like to know who the newbies are too. Let me know that you're new in the comments if this is the first time you're joining. And for those of you who are new, or honestly, if you've heard it a million damn times at this point, I want to tell you what the Akashic Records are, even if you've heard this before. And I'll invite you to listen with beginner's mind. Listen like you are hearing this for the first time. And I can guarantee that a nuance of understanding that you haven't had before will drop into your awareness. The Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness where every detail of your past, your present, all possible futures has been recorded from a neutral perspective, meaning a perspective of unconditional love and zero judgment. If you feel like this sounds a lot like the God energy, you are correct. This is you tapping into your God mind, your goddess mind. Universal consciousness is another name for the Akashic Records. And the records work by what's known as invitation only, which doesn't mean that only certain ones of us get the VIP invitation. It means that you get to invite forward the knowledge that you're seeking, which is why I'm encouraging you all to ask your questions. Get those questions typed in the comments. Now, today, as we're all joining here together, I am going to ask Spirit right now, y'all as my witness, bring my awareness. This is Girl Scouts Honor too that I'm doing. I think that's Girl Scouts Honor. Isn't that Girl Scouts Honor? I sometimes go into Girl Scouts Honor. I was a Girl Scout for a little while until I rebelled from the Girl Scouts. Anyway, what I want to do is call forward support from all of the Akashic Records, your guides, your teachers, your loved ones who are all gathering here together, my guides, my masters, my angels in the Akashic Records, and ask for support in bringing my attention to the questions that are going to serve the most of us here together. And I also want to promise each one of you that as you ask the questions, this space is consecrated. It is designed to deliver the answer to you whether that comes through me or not. When you pose the question in this space, the space where you are divinely connected to your Akashic Records, you will receive the answer. The answer might pop into your mind. The answer might come in through a comment that somebody else shares with us in the comments here live. The answer might pop into your field after this broadcast. I always let my clients and students know that 90% of the work that we do when we are in the Akashic Records happens afterwards. The aha moments keep happening. You want to follow, you want to track the new thoughts that drop in. Okay? All right. And also, while you are typing in your questions, I want to share a couple of announcements. We've got so many things coming down the pipeline. I'm not going to focus on all of them right now, but I do want to give you a heads up that we've got a new community coming that is about to launch here at the Akashic Academy. We have a new round of the masterclass, Learning to Read the Akashic Records, which is a deep dive where you get to read your own Akashic Records. If you are in the audience right now and you have taken my masterclass, give me a thumbs up in the comment. I want to check in with some of my former students and clients that still stay close by after they finish the training and stay close in this space. But where I want to focus when it comes to announcements today is our total flip on Black Friday. If you missed my live last week about Black Friday and tipping this whole paradigm on its butt, dumping the paradigms that cause us to make decisions out of lack and scarcity, and you are ready to experience what the real season of Christmas is about, you want to tap back into that in your own reality, then I am glad you are here, because we are flipping Black Friday into Freedom Friday. And every single Friday from now until Christmas, I am going to give away one of my core training programs. It's the beginner's training and Learn to Read the Akashic Records. This training will give you every piece of information that you need, along with a reliable method so that you can tap into your own Akashic Records anytime you want, ask for guidance about anything that you want. This is a life-changing technology. It is my mission to be one of the souls who returns this powerful technology to the planet. And in the spirit of Freedom Friday, in the spirit of Christmas time, and truly tapping into Christed consciousness. Christed consciousness is when all 12 strands of our DNA become active and we have access to the fullness of who we are. We can create at will. We can stop being slave to our subconscious patterns that are happening on autopilot and creating experiences that we don't want. When I work with students and clients in the Akashic Records, our goal is to take you from being oppressed to being free, to having full access to your intelligence, to all information, and having full access to your ultimate creativity and your genius. So give me an amen if that is something that can be valuable to you in your life. Think about truly having access to your full genius and no longer being subject to your subconscious patterns playing out. That's when you have true freedom and you have taken back the freedom in your life. So here's how you get entered into that drawing for Freedom Friday, where we are giving away a training program in the Akashic Records. It's super simple. First of all, share the broadcast. Whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, share the broadcast. That's step one. Step number two, like and subscribe. Wherever you're tuning in, make sure that you are connected and that you are staying connected to us here in this space. And the third thing you have to do is let me know in the comments that you did number one and number two. Sorry, the teenage humor in me just got a chuckle there. I got teenagers that laugh at anything number two related, you guys. Okay? Let me know in the comments that you did number one and you did number two. Number one is sharing this out. Number two is making sure that you are subscribed to this channel wherever you're tuning in from. Number three is letting me know in the comments. And with no further ado, let's get going. I love you all so much. Let's figure out where your questions and your challenges are this week. Oh, one more thing that I want to tell you. Stay till the end of the broadcast if you're here. Challenge yourself. We're only going to jam for, I say 30 minutes, but we usually go 45. So I don't say 30 minutes anymore. So plan to be here for 45 minutes. But like I said in the beginning, your soul has called you into this space for a reason. I don't know when the information or intelligence that you are looking for is going to drop in, but I know that it will. I also know it's important that you stay for the entirety of the broadcast because the information is cumulative. It builds on itself. Furthermore, the longer you stay in your Akashic records, the more impact the records can have on you. The more the records have a cumulative effect in your body anyway. It's like the more light you begin to hold, the more intelligence you begin to tap into. Okay, so make sure you stay until the end. Also, if Olivia's question feels resonant to you, or if the information that I channel through for Olivia is helpful to you, please know that is your guides, your Akashic records, or your innate intelligence, whatever you want to call it, speaking to you through this question. Okay, it's all for all of us. All is one. We're all the same being anyway. All right, so Miss Olivia, clarity and new energy needed for reals. If you need clarity and new energy for reals, send some love likes hearts across the screen. Stagnation station up in here, trauma, PTSD, stuck neural pathways be gone, asking for aha, clear way forward. Thank you so much, Olivia. All right, so Olivia, the first thing that I feel guided to do is the guides are saying, let's take a look at why you're stuck. Like, what is the major energy that is stagnating there for you? Okay. This is good. This feels pretty clear. What I'm hearing the guide say for anybody out there who is feeling stuck is not the nature of who we are, because we are energy and energy is always in motion. So if you feel stuck, first of all, the recognition of, oh, this is not natural. I'm not designed to be stuck. I'm designed to be in flow. And when you know that you are operating against your design, what the guides are saying right now is it's a very simple answer. You don't yet have the tools. You haven't built the muscle. You haven't acquired the skill that you need to shift into something different. So what we can actually derive from that is the knowingness of, okay, if I feel stuck in a situation, I need a new skill. And the new skill, I'm hearing that this is true for everyone, not just Olivia. But the new skill that is required is asking yourself a new question. The recognition that in order to change our patterns, we have to change our response to a pattern. And in order to change our response to a pattern, we have to ask ourselves a new question. Because what happens when we're cycling through, the reason we're stuck is because we're getting the same results over and over and over again. And the same results that we're getting over and over, which are not the results that we are wanting, are causing us to be frustrated or anxious or angry or disempowered. So rather than to continue in that cycle, if you want out of that cycle, it's important that you ask yourself a different question. Okay. I'm working with many clients on many different specific things right now. That was not very specific. But when clients come to me for deep dives, they work on things like starting a new business. Sometimes they're brick and mortar businesses. Sometimes they are online businesses. Like getting out of old relationships. I have a few clients right now that are experiencing major relationship transition, and they want to create a new timeline. New timelines is really, if I had to boil down to like, what is the number one reason that people come to me and they want to work with me? Because they want to create a new timeline. You see how there's similarity there with work, new work situations, new relationship situations. We work a lot on health. People who are experiencing poor emotional or physical health in their life because their old patterns are playing out and they're creating physical and emotional and mental dis-ease in their life. They feel stuck in this dis-ease. The common thread in all of those things is really jumping into a new timeline. If this is resonating, send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. And the fastest way to get into a new timeline where these old patterns aren't playing out, that's what's keeping you in an old timeline, is that your old subconscious patterns are continually playing out. Getting in the new timeline requires asking yourself different questions. Who do I get to become through this challenge? Actually, who do I want to become? That dropped in there's a nuance of difference between who do I get to become and who do I want to become. I was on a call with one of my clients this morning when I used the vocabulary, who do I get to become? And then my guides gave me hey, reframe that into who do you want to become? Because when you choose what you want to experience, that is claiming your freedom. That is claiming more sovereignty than who do I get to become? Depending on how you look at get, if you're a glass half full girl like I am, I get excited about that. And there are times when my energy vibrational frequency gets low and I still can tap into the victim mentality. All I got was the short end of the stick, right? We want to avoid you being in that state of oppression and that state of victim mentality. So choosing and asking yourself the questions, who do I want to become through this challenge? Okay. So one, the reason that we're stuck is because we don't yet have the skills. We haven't yet created habit or formulated the enlightened understanding around the importance of asking ourselves the right questions. Okay. Olivia, I want to tap in and call forward another question for you. Yeah, when you talk about the neural pathways, the stuck neural pathways, those are just our patterns that constantly repeat themselves. All right, let me tap in and find a question here. Okay, love this one. And this is a good one. This is an anchoring question that we all need to know and learn and understand about ourselves. What are my superpowers? What are my superpowers? It's a question. If you want to jump into a new timeline, ask yourself, what are my superpowers? What excites me? What inspires me? Stop participating with the old patterns. Stop engaging them. Stop asking questions about, why do I always end up broke at the end of the month? Why do I always find myself in relationships where people are manipulating or abusing me? Why do I always stop asking yourself those questions. If you're truly, if you're curious about why you keep ending up in those situations, ask this question instead. Ask, what am I learning from this situation? How am I being invited to get stronger in an area where I am obviously susceptible to distortion? Take full ownership and full responsibility and ask questions from this state of desiring to find the gift within the challenge, the gift within the wound. And holy cow, will powerful new information start to flow in. Okay. What are my gifts? What are my superpowers? Tom says his superpowers are making people laugh. You do. You are funny. And that is a superpower. Laughter is medicine. Olivia says, yes, this is resonating. Awesome. Okay. So David Green's feeling the inspiration of the ideas here. Good. Okay, so I want to bring in an activation right now to support anybody who feels like you have stuck neural pathways and you feel like you're just thinking the same thoughts, you're asking yourself the same questions, you're seeing the result of that in your life, meaning it doesn't feel like things are shifting or moving or changing. Okay. All right, so I want you to rub the hands together, create some friction between the left and right palm. Channeling this in from the Akashic Records, asking for guidance on how we get to unstick the neural pathways, the sticky neural pathways. Okay, good. Now that you created some energy with the left and right palm, I want you to have thumbs connected into the heart space. And I want you to give yourself permission to be more curious, okay? And what this means specifically is in order to have new thoughts, to create new neural pathways, you're going to have to stop judging your thoughts or judging new thoughts. And you're going to notice that as you begin to open and invite new intelligence to come in, thoughts are going to come in that are going to make you feel uncomfortable. They're going to trigger energy in you, and you're going to think, yeah, no, that's not good. And you're going to have an instant response to that thought. I'm going to invite you right now in this moment to get curious rather than getting judgmental about those thoughts that come in. Because those thoughts, if you explore them, I'm not saying you have to agree with them or that you ultimately have to act on them. It's your choice. You are a fully sovereign being all the time, whether you feel like you're oppressed or not. But if you do not allow yourself curiosity over judgment, the judgment is going to instantly shut down any possibility of new thoughts or new neural pathways coming in, or new neural pathways being formed. Okay. So I want you to give yourself this permission as the thumbs are connected here into the heart, into your energy. Nice deep breath in. I am now giving myself permission to be curious about any and all thoughts. I am now giving myself permission to be curious about any and all thoughts. One more time. Notice I'm breathing nice and deeply, and I'm programming my cellular structure to work the way that I want it to work. I am now giving myself permission to be curious about any and all thoughts. Good. Ooh, good job. I'm excited to see how that plays out for you. If you participated in that activation, if you received that activation, type yes in the comments for me. All right, let's go back in. Tom, this is great. Tom says, never own your damage, like my depression, my illness. Just say the depression, the illness. Yes. I like that terminology. Thank you, Tom. I use terminology that looks like this. I'm noticing that I'm feeling whatever it is. I'm noticing. And when I use that phrase, I'm noticing, it takes me from being in a dance with that energy to observing it. Does that make sense? Good. I'd like you, anybody else who has a good method for creating space or creating distance between the truth of who we are and what we are experiencing in a moment, type that in the comments. I'd love to just share some more knowledge and wisdom. All right, let's see what other questions are popping in here. I'm broadcasting live on StreamYard. So if you haven't given StreamYard permission to, I don't know, shake your online hand. I don't even know. You gotta give StreamYard permission to share your comments here so that I can see them on here. All right, Olivia says, it feels opening to the frontal lobe. That's awesome. The frontal lobe of our brain doesn't actually become fully formed until we're in our mid-20s or late 20s, sometimes even early 30s. And the frontal lobe is what allows us truly to see a bigger picture, where we're not only seeing or understanding how things are affecting us. We can see the bigger picture. We see how our thoughts, our behaviors, and actions affect others. I shouldn't say that we can't see it, because you can see it before the frontal lobe becomes fully developed. You don't precognitively think about it, and that doesn't inform your decision making until the frontal lobe is fully developed. So the frontal lobe, when the frontal lobe is fully developed, it allows us to perceive from a higher dimension of reality, which is pretty cool. So thank you for sharing that. All right, I'm looking for questions in here. I want to hear what questions you have so we can take those into the Akashic Records. Mel says, exactly. As soon as I have a feeling, I drop into my heart and ask what's up. Yeah. I think it's definitely important to check in and see, like, why am I feeling this? What's really going on here? Giving yourself an opportunity to get deeply honest and connected with ourselves, right? I'm also finding that if I choose my vibrational frequency at the beginning of the day, meaning I wake up every morning and I say, all right, I've shifted a little bit. I used to say, what needs to happen today for me to say that this is the best day ever? And my mind, because I love action, I love creating results. I mean, I love quiet as much as I love action, but I love being creative and inspiring others. And I love to be in a state of doing. I know we're called human beings, and I like to be too, but I'm here to create, and I'm here to interact, and I'm here to have fun. And I want adventure, and I want to follow joy. And I want to be wowed by life. I want to be in the state of magic. Okay. So I like to experience that. And I would always ask this question from that state of doing. What needs to happen today for me to say this was the best day ever? And then I began to shift that and take more ownership, because I realized if I was putting the energy outward and said what needs to happen, then the outward circumstances of my life were actually creating my internal vibration. And that I realized, oh, I'm not truly free. If I am requiring the outside circumstances of my life to be a certain way, and then I get to feel like, wow, I'm in the awe, I'm in the magic. I'm like, oh, that's not really, that's not exactly what I wanted. Let me flip it. And let me start with, how do I want to be today so that I feel like today was the best day ever? And then I get to answer the question similarly. I want to be inspired. I want to feel adventurous. I want to feel deeply connected in my relationships. I want to have conversations that I'm like, oh, wow, I never thought of something that way before. That makes me feel alive and excited. I love to constantly learn. I want to learn something new. And so when I began to ask myself this question every day, how do I see, there's the get, let me get out of there. How do I want to be today so that I can feel like today was the best day ever? Then what happens is I begin to set my internal frequency. And then I notice that I'm not as affected by the outward circumstances. And I've changed my patterning just to a positive. I'll say I've changed my old patterning where I'm susceptible to the triggers that happen in the outside world. And I'm now setting my own vibrational frequency. And patterns repeat themselves, whether they're good or bad. So once I shift out of that old pattern and I create this new pattern, then what I find is that I'm not experiencing the depression or the spinning and cycling of negative thoughts. I'm not experiencing, or as soon as I am, I'm like, oh, hang on a second. That's an old pattern. I don't have to participate in that if I don't want to. Oh, yeah. I claimed that today was going to be a day of love and connection and inspiration and vision. Let me hop back on that timeline. And there are days where like I'm still learning how to continually hold this frequency, but I'm noticing that if I can program myself like that in the very beginning of my day, before all of the triggers in life have added up, whoo, then I'm so much better. I love it. All right, great. We got some more questions rolling in here. I love it. I want to just remind everyone again, too, that we're giving away a free training program in learning to read the Akashic Records every single Friday from now until Christmas. If you want to win that free gift, even if you've already taken the training and you win, you can give it to somebody else. Okay. If you want to win that free training, 3 things. I want you to share this broadcast out. I want to make sure that you subscribe wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Subscribe to or like so that we can stay connected. And then let me know in the comments that you did 1 and 2. Okay. All right. Justin says, it seems I'm going through a period of transformation and I find myself at a crossroads. Do I hang on to what's familiar and comfortable and look for the lessons and be grateful for the growth it brings? Or would it be the right time to take advantage of a leap of faith and dive into the fear of the unknown? Yeah, I love this, Justin. Great question. You guys send Justin some love likes, hearts across the screen. I think both are really important. I think that it's really important to look at what's happened in the past and understand how this has grown you. Understand what patterns were on repeat that I found myself in that situation to begin with. Where did I learn from it? And now, where do I want to go? I definitely feel like it's leap of faith time, trying something totally new and different. And I feel like karma is cyclical. Karma is an unlearned lesson. So if you are desiring to jump into a new timeline and you don't want to bring the essence of the old timeline or what previously wasn't working with you, it's going to take shining some light on it, shining some awareness on that. And again, for those of you who are just tuning in or you're taking notes, I'm going to put Justin's question back up here on the screen because Justin, you're nailing it. You're doing all of the right things. Okay. I'm not going to encourage you to hang on to what's familiar just for the sake of hanging on to what's familiar, though. Because hanging on to what's familiar just for the sake of hanging on to what's familiar is self-sabotage. And sometimes we do that and we talk ourselves into doing that because we're not 100% clear on what the new timeline or what the new circumstance is that we want to create or that we want to participate in. We're not certain about what that looks like. Again, it's the questions you ask will create the life that you want because the questions that you ask yourself are what's going to trigger new thought, and your thought is what creates your reality. Let me take 2 on that. Your repetitive thought is what creates your reality. Luckily, we are not yet living in an environment where our thoughts instantaneously manifest here in the physical. There's some lag time. That's why the repetitive thought is what creates our reality. Trust me, as a civilization, we are not collectively evolved and advanced enough to create instantaneously every thought that we think. Because we haven't learned to take command or control of our thoughts. You want to talk about where you're oppressed and where you're not experiencing your freedom? It's in your thought process. Go ahead, begin to observe the thoughts that you're actually thinking every day. Remember when Olivia talked about the frontal lobe? She was feeling that energy in the frontal lobe. What I'm hearing right now is that activation that we did together, where you get to get curious about your thoughts. Instantly, if you give yourself permission to get curious about thoughts rather than judging them, what happens is you move into that observer state. You see the difference? Judgmental state is not observing your thoughts. That's letting your thoughts run you. It's like it's having an instantaneous reaction that you did not even choose. And most of your judgments, by the way, come from your programming. They come from where you're comfortable, what you're used to, where you grew up, how the people where you grow up think, what your parents think, what your status group thinks. Trust me, if you think that your status is going to be affected in your status group, you are not going to allow yourself to think new thoughts or thoughts that are outside of what's acceptable within your popularity group. It's how humans work until we learn to rewire ourselves. It's why we're so programmable, and so many of us stay oppressed in the matrix. We stay in jobs we don't want. We stay in relationships that we don't want. We excuse our bad behavior. We fight amongst ourselves. We fight with our own selves. You fight within yourself. You fight without of yourself. You fight with other people. You get all triggered. All of these things are distracting you from your freedom, the truth of who you are. Keeps you plugged into the matrix that is controlling you. You don't want that anymore? Start, first of all, observing your thoughts, seeing where you are getting caught up and what you don't want to be caught up in. And then ask yourself different questions so that you can think new thoughts. Have the bravery and the courage to ask new questions. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna quiet myself for just a second. I went on a tangent there, preaching on my soapbox there. Felt like there was something else that wanted to drop in. Working with Justin's question right here, being at a crossroad. I feel like it was about hanging on to what is familiar. What do you guys think about hanging on to what is familiar? I'd love to know what your thoughts are here. Mel messes. I had a thought that I need a haircut, and a friend showed up with hair cutting scissors. I love that. Mel, I happen to know firsthand that you have done so much work on raising your vibrational frequency that it doesn't surprise me at all that thoughts, that is how your world unfolds and manifests. I've had experiences like that before too. And I'll also say that if every single one of my thoughts manifested instantaneously, that wouldn't necessarily be a good thing for me. So I'm still learning how to hold the frequency of always choosing my thoughts. There are some of my thoughts that are still happening on autopilot. Okay. Cool. Okay, Michelle says, how do soul contracts with other people show up in the Akashic Records? I'm curious about a specific soul contract with someone. Okay, so soul contracts show up in the Akashic Records by revealing the reasons, which there are multiple reasons, not just one, but there are multiple reasons that souls choose to cross paths in this current incarnation. And it's always to better and then to teach each other and to learn and to grow, even though it might not look like that. Okay. Sometimes we learn and grow. Sometimes. I feel like we're shifting this, but a lot of times the learning and growth happens through conflict or through contrast or through challenge. Not always. But it is a really great way to grow. And we need the contrast in all parts of our life. So we don't need to always grow through conflict and contrast. We also need to grow through connection and adventure and mutual inspiration and pleasure and joy. All of it is very important. What we need to do is stop judging some ways of learning as good and some ways of learning as bad, and stay focused on what is my soul learning through this experience. Okay, so if you feel like you have a soul contract with somebody in your life, ask in the space of your records, what is it that I need to learn? Great question, Michelle. All right, so I realized that I didn't do an activation there with Justin's comment. So let me tap in and bring about an activation that's going to help and to support with both Justin and Michelle's question. So Michelle asking about soul contracts and Justin asking about a crossroads. Okay. It's all about learning, is what I'm hearing right now. It's all about learning. So activating our ability to always seek learning, growth, and expansion, whether it's with the soul that we've come across in this incarnation that is either challenging or expanding us, or if we feel like we're at a transition point in our life where we're at a crossroads. What is here for me to learn? This is a life-changing question. Okay. We are actually we have this in common with AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence learns from itself and its experience. Okay. That's in essence what we're here doing as well. That you want to get smarter, you want to access the highest levels of your genius. Take time to tap in and consciously learn from everything that you're experiencing. It's why you came to Earth School. Having that question in your back pocket as a default question in every single experience is phenomenal. Okay. Asking, what is here for me to learn in this challenging relationship? What is here for me to learn in this exciting, expansive relationship? What is here for me to learn if I choose to stay on my old timeline and not make changes? I stay in the comfortable, I stay in the status quo. What am I going to learn? Because you will learn, you will continue to learn. If I am ready to ditch the status quo and take a leap of faith as it's in front of me right now, what is there for me to learn? And pay attention to what comes back in your mind. Channel writing these things out is really important and great thing to do. Just let yourself write unedited. Unedited means not judging the thoughts as they're coming out of your mind, getting curious about your thoughts as they come out of your mind. Okay? All right, so let me figure out where that activation is going to come in. Michelle says, I'm at a similar place as Justin about holding on. Not sure if there are lessons I have not learned yet through the challenges, or if taking action with someone has ended the lesson. Let me tap in and see. How do you know? I'm hearing like, by the charge. If there's still charge in your body, charge in your emotional field, then there's more for you to learn there. You'll know when you're totally complete and all of the learning that you need is done, because you'll stay very neutral. And you can always make the choice in any moment to move on or to not move on. Okay. All right. So I want to do some kind of a physical activation to help us program ourselves to remember that question. What is here for me to learn? Okay, we're going to do a simultaneous tapping on the third eye, and the guides are bringing me into me see which lower chakra it is. Okay, it's sacral. So sacral is the chakra that's in your womb, in your reproductive organs. And third eye is up here between the two hemispheres of the brain, between your eyebrows. And will simultaneously means synchronized, tapping at the same time. Tapping on the third eye and on the sacral chakra. Nice deep breaths. This is programming our biology to help us remember that question. What is here for me to learn? What is here for me to learn? What is here for me to learn? Good. Palms up in a receptive position. I want you to take a few moments and just breathe in, allowing the palms, because they're face up, because they're in this receptive position, allow them to be filled with intelligence, support, prosperity for all that we need and desire as we are remembering the truth of who we are, as we are choosing to no longer allow ourselves to be oppressed. We're choosing our freedom. We're learning how to take our power back by asking ourselves questions that open our mind, by being in association with those of like minds and like hearts who seek love, who seek joy, who seek abundance, who seek peace here on the planet. If you can find the place within you that tends to be aggressive, and bring some peace and love into that part of you, you're going to find massive change. Good work, everybody. I am so happy to have shared this time with you on this sacred Wednesday. Thank you all for being here. Again, remember, Freedom Friday, every Friday, we are giving away a training course in the Akashic Records, the complete beginner's training. If you want to be entered into that drawing, I want you to share out this video, like and subscribe to whatever channel you are watching on, wherever you're tuning in from. And let me know in the comments that you participated in 1 and 2, and we will enter your name into a drawing. I'll draw live on Friday, either live on an actual live where you all can join me, or on a video, just depending on where I'm at and what the internet connection looks like. All right. But we will definitely be supporting this community with sharing this powerful technology that increases your connection to your own Christic consciousness, and giving away blessings to all of you through this holiday season. Thank you all for being here. Mwah. I love you, and I'll see you back here again.